Hello, friends. Robert Bevan here, author of the Caverns and Creatures series of comedy fantasy novels and short stories. With me is Sam West, and today we're going to be talking about the spell Telekinesis.
Ooh.
Oh yeah, this is upper level mage hand,
Yeah, basically.
but it's cool. I mean, mage hand is cool.
Oh yeah, I love Mage Hand. Anything that lets me do the 11 thing from Stranger Things, anything that lets me do the I pick things up around and throw them about the place, I love. It's just while I normally am not the biggest fan of like the psychic, like the mental daggers thing, where a lot of the what are they called? Psionics that 3.5 introduced or older edition. I don't know when they got introduced, but the magic mental stabbiness.
I never used it.
Yeah, it's a bit edgy for me. It's a bit I don't know, it's just not my cup of tea. But telekinesis, that's like right where I want my psychic powers to be. That's right where, like, whenever I was 4, I would envision like going down the road, be like, wow, I could throw that and flip it in my brain and the truck would go. That's exactly what I want to do at Dungeons and Dragons, what I wanted to do when I was 4-year-old. So
Well, I like that. I mean, you can move objects up to 1,000 pounds. That's cool. I don't really, that's like 4 fat people, 4 of me.
sure.
Or I'm just trying to
Visualize the weight. I got you.
Yes, not a car.
Not quite a very small car, maybe.
Oh man,
Like a bug.
4 of me isn't a car, really.
Like a beetle, it is. Yeah.
Couldn't. Oh, God.
Yeah.
God.
Listen,
Jesus.
weight is weird. It's hard to be like, wow, that's how much that weighs.
But the neat thing about this is you can also move creatures.
Mhm.
This a huge or smaller. What is a huge creature? That's not like an elephant.
20 by 20.
That's certainly more than 4 of me.
More than an elephant. This is like T-Rex territory we're talking about.
Right.
This is very big things. We're not moving the Tarrasque. We're not moving ancient dragons. But anything short of gargantuan, we're throwing it about.
Huh. That's fun.
Yeah, the spell is not powerful, but very cool. And I love spells that are not powerful, but very cool. Because this is like, at its best, a bad saber die. But it's a repeatable bad saber die. It lasts 10 minutes, so it's something you can just kind of like have up for a while. And it also has a lot of fun object utility. So the whole of the spell kind of combines to be like, every element of this is pretty usable in a lot of environments and not amazing in any one of them. But when you put them all together, it's like, yeah, this is great. I'm happy to have this.
I mean, you say it's not powerful, but I think it's kind of powerful. You lift a T-Rex off the ground, he's restrained. Everybody gets to make their attacks against him, and that's at least as powerful as hold person, is it not?
Yeah, hold person costs the 2nd level spell slot. Granted, it doesn't hit huge creatures. We're looking more towards the range like dominate monster, which I believe is a little bit higher level than this. And that gives you control over the creature. If we're comparing it to something like banishment or polymorph, you're not really removing it. Restraining it doesn't like remove it. And even in those instances, you're spending your actions to do it, which I am way more of a fan of than just you do it once and it happens for however long it fails saves. So like this is a little bit more interactive than a lot of the other powerful saber dies are. But like restraining one thing for a 5th level spell slot, it can be fine. If you're against one huge creature, it can be great. If you're against a series of smaller things and 1 or 2 of them are more important than the rest, that's like, I don't know how good one restraint for a 5th level spell slot is anymore. It's not really necessarily your job. You more want to try and like control environments in more dynamic ways. It can be fine. It's not going to be by any stretch of the means like super powerful. This is something that you're pretty happy to do a lot of the time, especially because you can move them about. But it's not something that I'm like jumping at like, oh my God, I have to rebuild encounters because this guy's got telekinesis and can restrain my monsters. It's not that good, especially if you're looking at things that have like high strength scores and stuff, because it is contested. It's not given. There are lots of like, maybe you use your action to do nothing, but at the same time, you also are throwing around gigantic objects, which is super fun and can be combative. How much does a 1,000-pound object falling on someone's head do from 30 feet in the air?
A considerable amount, I guess.
I would expect it to be a considerable amount.
I feel like dropping a Volkswagen on somebody would be more damaging than 4 of me.
Yeah, I would agree. It's also that those are made of metal and they don't, what's the word? Flail about, they don't do the yeah, they have collision of metal.
Yeah.
And it's definitely the kind of thing where I don't know the answer to how much damage that does. And if someone picks up an 800-pound boulder and drops it on one of my baddies, I just probably go, it dies? So this will definitely have a DM's mileage may vary, big caveat with it. That being said, the restraint is fine. Bob, would you rather use this for the restraint, or are you using it for the object more, do you think?
I restrain because not even necessarily for the pragmatic benefits, just because I want to see my enemy going up in the air while everybody's beating on him.
Perfect. That's a great reason to want it. Yeah, it is.
That's why I don't really care about you. You said, oh, but if there's a few smaller creatures, I don't care. I'm going to grab one of them.
The nice other thing about this, right, is like hypothetically in that situation, if you are a bunch of multiple smaller things, if you're just like, all right, we're gonna target down the one, you lift the one that's restrained, everyone lays into it, you go right on to the next one your next turn, lift it up restrained, and everyone goes on to that one, right? There can be an amount of strategy that goes into it that is definitely neat and is pretty fun. There are first level spells that restrain, though. Ensnaring Strike is something I'm super hyped on, but it does restrain creatures. So if that's a condition you're looking for, you could definitely get it for a lower cost than this, which is one of the reasons why I'm kind of like, yeah, it's not that good. But it is still very fun, definitely. And it being repeatable and movable is a real meaningful upside. So it's not like all doom and gloom.
Oh, I don't think it's any doom and gloom. I mean,
I think if you're at a table that is power gaming, this is probably unusable. If you're at a table that is
unusable, seriously,
I would go as far to say unusable. It takes concentration to the 5th level spell slot, and it is not doing nearly enough damage at a power gaming table for it to be great.
Even against the one big baddie.
Bob, we're competing with only 5 out of 5s when we're talking about power gaming tables, and this spell is not close to that. This is no conjure elementals. This is no like bananas busted extremely powerful magic. This is very fun, very fine magic that'll be great at lower power tables.
All right, I'm in agreement with you there, except I think we're going to disagree when it comes to the final ratings. But
sure. Listen, I think a really big element of the spell we haven't touched on much is the moving around gigantic objects. That's a huge element of the spell.
Go ahead.
Oh, so you move up to a 1,000-pound object, right? You can stand on that object. Nothing's saying you can't, right?
Oh, that's badass.
Yeah. So you can just like have everyone pile on to whatever you want to move. And as long as the total weight doesn't go over 1,000 pounds, you have a flying carpet. This is kind of fly. That's really cool. It only lasts 10 minutes. And then you also have all the other effects it can do. You can have this be the kind of thing where I wait for the door to open while I'm holding the 800 pounds of dead bears that we managed to amass in the woods. Then I release them down onto the kobolds and they open the door, right? That's a very fun use case of it. It's his infiltration tool. This is a way that you can like just rip things off the wall and move them about the place. It can infinitely interact with things. So you can have this be unlocking doors. You can have this be carefully pouring things out of vials, and you can do all of those things within 10 minutes. You can just be like, all right, I did the one thing where I lifted us up to the tower entrance, and we're going to go in there, and then I'm going to lift whatever barricades have been thrown against this back door quietly over to the side, that we can go right in, and you have this really cool exploration tool that does a lot of things in the last 10 minutes, and it can be highly utility.
Yeah, I mean, all right. It says you can like do things like turn doorknobs and stuff and find movements, but if you've got 1,000 pounds of the force, can you just rip the doors off hinges and stuff?
Again, your DM's mileage may vary.
Right.
So I'm a sucker for this kind of thing. So I would almost always say yes. Mainly because most of the time your barbarian can just kick the door in anyway. So if that's like something that you want to be doing, as long as you're not really stealing anyone else's thunder, I'm pretty here for it. So even if you're at my tables, your mileage may vary. At the same time, there'll be people that'll be like, absolutely not. Ripping something off its hinges, this isn't really 1,000 pounds of force. It's just kind of moving an object up to 1,000 pounds, magically different for some reason. And you'll get, no, the spell does exactly these things. It cannot be worn or carried or occupied-ish. Like, can you just take a chunk of 1,000 pounds worth of stone out the side of a building? I would say as a DM, sure, why not? As other DMs, probably the answer is going to be no. So
let me ask you a question.
Sure.
When you go to the supermarket, do you do the telekinesis with the automatic doors?
Of course.
All right.
My little 4-year-old me requires it.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, yeah, that's good times. Are we done?
Yeah, I mean,
All right.
I could talk
All
about
right.
telekinesis forever, so let's be done.
Yeah, because I think we covered the basics. You got a
I
rating?
think so too. This is a 3 out of 5. This is a perfectly serviceable spell at most tables.
I'm giving it a 5 out of 5. It's fun.
Oh my god, breaking the game in half. Bananas busted.
No, just for fun.
He does. It's a 5 and fun.
Yes. At the end of the day,
All right, great.
that's what
Love
I
that
care
for
about.
You're here
All
for the
right.
fun score. I'm here for the power score. Look at us.
All right, that was Telekinesis. Thank you, Sam, and thank you everyone for joining us. We will see you next time. Bye-bye. Thank you for watching. If you found this helpful, informative, or entertaining, I'd really appreciate it if you hit the like button below. You needn't smash it. A gentle tap will suffice. If you want to see more videos like this, subscribe to the channel. And make sure you check out the links in the description, where you'll find my Caverns Creatures series of comedy fantasy novels, Sam's full review of the spell, and other fun things.